Professor Arun Kumar is now with us. Good evening, Professor. First of all, for the common man, can you explain at this moment, in layman terms, what this means? What has US done vis-a-vis what has India done? Is this reciprocity? What it means for our country?
So, a trade war basically means that we try to protect our exports and we try to reduce our imports so that our current account remains in balance. We are not short of dollars, And what happens in the world is everybody tries to export more so they can capture the market of the other country. If you can capture the market of the other country, then your economy will boom. So that's why, there are tariff barriers and there are non-tariff barriers. Tariff barriers means that I put a levy on the import of goods, and the other nation can also correspondingly put levy on my exports, Non-tariff barriers means that I don't use tariff, I try to use other means, like I say that your steel is not of the proper quality, or that your food that you're exporting to us is not of the proper quality, or the drugs that you're exporting to us is not of the right quality, So these are the non-tariff barriers. Now what has happened is that USA has been a dollar of the USA is a global currency. So US has been importing a lot of things from all over the world, and its exports have been much less. So as a result, the US has been running a huge current account deficit, and especially vis-a-vis China, but also vis-a-vis India. So now what has happened is, as a result, that the low technology and intermediate technology products are not being manufactured that much in the US, and correspondingly those goods are being made in China, or they're being made in India, and therefore employment is lost in USA. And Trump came with the promise that he'll bring jobs back. And that's why he's forced the IT sector like Infosys, etc., to create jobs in America. It's trying to force China to also create jobs in America, by bringing back industry, by forcing Ford, etc., to come back into China. So effectively what's happening is that when India did not comply, India did not lower its tariff, and Mr. Trump kept on talking about Harley Davidson. He said, Harley Davidson, you had 100% duty, you reduced it to only 50%, you need to reduce it further. But that is only a symbol of the fact that, a lot of industries that were exporting from India, they want them to come back to the US, so that they can generate employment. And Mr. Trump came with the promise in the election that he would bring jobs back to America. So he's imposed tariffs vis-a-vis Mexico. He's, done trade deal with Canada. He's done, tariffs vis-a-vis Europe and vis-a-vis China. So in this sense, what is happening is,
Professor Kumar,
yes.
What I want to understand at this moment is we've been able to establish that this is a very protectionist sort of an attitude that the United States has. Maybe because they want to deliver on their poll promise.
Correct.
But at the same time, what is the impact of this trade war or the impending trade war? Say, for instance, we decide that we won't budge, rightfully so, as far as this argument is concerned. What does this mean for the Indian economy?
Yes.
Where, you have said it on so many occasions that we are struggling.
Our exports to the US will... Yes. So the economy is not doing well, and we need to increase exports to increase demand in the economy, so the rate of growth of the economy goes up. But if this tariff war continues and if the global economy slows down, then our exports will suffer further. And that is when it will impact back on the Indian economy, because the internal situation is not very good. So we will not be able to get the external market also, because all over the world, I think the economy is slowed down. Even in China, etc., the rate of growth is coming down. So our exports globally will suffer as a result of the trade war, not only between America and India, but also between America and China, America and Eurozone, etc. So this trade war that is taking place at the moment, initiated by America, only America has initiated this trade war, and America is trying to win back some of the jobs because the technology has displaced. So America is misunderstanding the situation, whereas the problem is coming from increased automation and the use of artificial intelligence, but it is saying that it's happening because of the trade. America has benefited enormously from trade. America has the advanced technology, and therefore it's able to export advanced technology products to the rest of the world, like for instance computers, like for instance your aerospace products, and a whole rate of other goods. So the reason why the developing world was given concession in tariffs, etc., was because we had lower level of technology, and therefore we could not compete on equal terms. And that's why under WTO also the developing world was given certain advantage. But unfortunately, what has happened is we have been claiming that we are the fastest growing economy. Now we are a superpower in terms of economic terms. If we begin to claim that, then America will impose saying that, look, if you are equal, then you should also have equal terms with us. Why should we give you preferences, etc.? So in other words, we have been claiming more than what we should have been claiming on the economic front, and therefore, America is pressing down on us in terms of this.
Okay.
But the disadvantage that we have in terms of technology remains. Our technology does not match the technology in America, whether it be in farming sector, etc.
Okay.
But our advantage has been cheap labor, so our cost of production becomes lower. And to compensate for that, they are imposing tariffs on our products, like as you mentioned, in textile and in other labor-intensive areas.
There's a strong case to diplomatically stand up to the bullying, the trade bullying, as you say, which has been initiated by the United States. But at the same time, we have to be cognizant of the realities that may happen, or the situation that may develop if this continues.
And one more,
very quickly.
Yeah, one more thing. I think the rest of the world has to get together and stand up to the bullying by the Americans. India alone cannot stand up to the bullying. India, China, Europe, everybody has to get together in G20 and confront the US, saying this is not the way the WTO was supposed to function.
All right, so you propose a sort of an international Mahagathbandhan against the United States. Professor Kumar, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us and putting this story in perspective.